Pennsylvania Highway 147. Yeah. Alright. Pennsylvania Highway 147 is both minor and major at the same time, with its minor section in the southernmost portion and its major freeway route in its northernmost portion. Alright, let's take a look at the map. As you can see, the route goes from US 22 and 322 across the river from Susquehanna, and it takes a route up through Millersburg, Sunbury, and up to Milton, where it will meet with I-80 and becomes I-180. Alright, so first we're going to be talking about northbound PA 147. Once we split off of US 22 and 322, we are signed north for Halifax. PENNDOT, since when did we go to Nova Scotia, Canada? That should be Millersburg. Millersburg should be on the sign because it's bigger than Halifax. And no, I don't mean Halifax, Canada. That's really big, but this town is very small and close by. You're watching the Xavier 456. I post new highway content every week. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and give us a like. And if you really like it, hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications. So here we got our first direction sign in Halifax. And this is the split with PA 225. It is the first time we're meeting with it, but certainly not the last. It is signed for Elizabethville. I think that is okay for that route. And now we're signed for Millersburg, which is what should have been on that overhead at the start. Here we are in Millersburg, and this is the interchange with US 209 at its terminal. And we are getting signed north for Sunbury. And I think Sunbury is okay because even though we are not going directly there, we'll be crossing the river beforehand. We meet with PA 61, which will take you into Sunbury. Here's our next direction sign, and we meet PA 225 yet again, and we are still signed for Sunbury, as 225 is signed for Shamokin. Here we get our first mileage sign, and we get Herndon on the top line at 1, and Sunbury on the bottom line at 14. Sunbury is probably an okay choice to put on there, but I wouldn't mind seeing another city on there, who knows. As we approach Sunbury, we get this helpful 2 US 11 and 15 direction sign right here, and straight ahead, if you don't take the ramp to the bridge, you'll be going on PA 61, which will take you into Sunbury. After we've crossed the Susquehanna River, we meet with US 11 and 15, which gets signed south for both Selinsgrove and Harrisburg. Glad you threw Harrisburg on there. And meanwhile, north are getting signed for Danville and Lewisburg. Danville's there for 11, I think that's okay, but Lewisburg's there for 15. I want to see Williamsport somewhere on this sign, and even though it's not on the overhead, we do get information about PA 147 to the side. Also, since we are meeting up with US 11, I do recommend that you check out the Dirt Hogs US 11 videos. Here is a brand new split that opened a few years ago, with North 15 signed for Lewisburg, and 147 now signed 280 and 180 for Milton. Guess where 147's going? Williamsport, because that's where 180 is going after we intersect with 80. Sign Williamsport on the sign. We're bypassing Milton. Anyways, this split between 15 and 147 was requested by Quartermanche 437. And you can request your exit down in the comments below as well. Next week, we'll be looking at PA 283, along with a reboot of I-283. The first exit we get on this freeway portion after we've crossed the Susquehanna is to PA 405, which is signed for Northumberland. And this exit was also requested by Quartermanche 437. And this is actually the last exit in the newest stretch of this road, as we're going to head into the older section of this freeway. We get Milton on the top line at 7, and Williamsport is at least on the bottom line. So back there was another secondary. Stop doing this, Pennsylvania. The first exit we get in the older section of the freeway is with PA 45, and it is also requested by Quartermanche 437, and it's getting signed for Montendon and Lewisburg, because Lewisburg is where you'll be ending up on the other side of the Susquehanna. Here we get our end PA 147 shield right here as we approach I-80, and we just passed the eastbound ramp since I gave up on the signage. But straight ahead we can see 180 West is signed for Williamsport. So from that point, go on and check out my I-180 video. So now we're going to talk about southbound PA 147. Off of I-80, we can see PA 147 South is signed for Milton yet again. We're bypassing Milton. You know what I think should be there? Selinsgrove, because that's where 11 and 15 are going. Or alternatively, you could put Sunbury on there, but still, I would say Selinsgrove would be a good choice here. Here we got a Milton exit sign, and our laundry list of exits include Broadway, Mahoning Street, and Industrial Park Road. And then we get our only mileage sign on the freeway portion heading southbound with Northumberland on the top line. That is for US 11 northbound, although it's also for PA 405 should you want to choose to go on that ramp. Sunbury is also signed for us, and Selinsgrove is on the bottom line for 11 and 15. I think this is pretty good. Here's where the freeway portion of 147 ends as we meet US 15, and it's getting north for Winfield! Why Winfield, when you can sign Lewisburg? And South 147 and 15 are signed for Sunbury, which is for 147, and Selinsgrove, which is for 15. Good sign there. Here we meet with US 11, which is getting signed for Northumberland as opposed to Danville. But we, as 11, 15, and 147, 2 PA 61, are signed for Selinsgrove. But we don't have Sunbury on there, I don't know why. Here we come to the ramp to the bridge over the Susquehanna River. We're getting South 61 Sunbury. Why isn't PA 147 on there? We've completely lost sight of PA 147. And meanwhile, South 11 and 15 are signed for Selinsgrove and Harrisburg, as they should be. Here is our split after the bridge, with 61 signed for Sunbury, and South 147 now signed for Herndon, and not Millersburg. Millersburg should be there. Herndon is much smaller. Stop signing these little towns. And this is all done because of another secondary. Herndon is on the top line of this mileage sign, and Millersburg is at the bottom line. This is better. Here we meet PA 225 for the first time heading southbound, getting signed for Shamokin, and we are signed for Millersburg. Here we get our next mileage sign with Millersburg on the top line this time, and Harrisburg is on the bottom line at 43. That is awesome. I really love that sign. Here in Millersburg, we see the same direction sign we saw heading northbound at US 209's end, and we are now signed for both Halifax and Harrisburg. I'm glad Harrisburg is making an appearance on this direction sign. We now get one more mileage sign with Halifax on the top line and Harrisburg on the bottom line at 27 miles away. Well done there. And here is the second intersection with PA 225, and southbound is now signed for Dolphin because we are still continuing to Harrisburg, and it is faster because we're meeting 22 and 322 at the end. And look at the PA shields. We get Clearview font instead of Highway Gothic. And here is the end of PA 147 at the US 22 and 322 ramp. Choice to go west is to the right, and to go east is straight ahead. This was also requested by Chuck Slezak, and that is a good way to end off this video. Thank you for watching this episode of Shaming PENNDOT, and next week we'll be covering a reboot of I-283 plus PA-283. I will see you all then, and may peace be with you.